Both the Texans and the Vikings are coming off great Week 2 wins. The Texans beat the Bears on Sunday Night Football in their home opener, while the Vikings also beat the Niners in their home opener in a stellar fashion, 23-17 victory. They're now facing each other. Both teams are undefeated in this Week 3 matchup. Ryan and I, we're going to break down the game, the matchups within the game that you need to watch, and then also then to, at the very end of the video, provide our predictions. So be sure to stay tuned for the entire video. But before we do that, we want to give a huge shout out to everybody that subscribed to the Tracy Take after our Week 2 prediction video series. We set out a goal of 100 new subscribers, and we got well over 200 thanks to you all. So I think for this week, let's not be too greedy. Let's see if we can get another 100. So if this is your first time here, any help is greatly appreciated. So hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. Ryan, want to quickly talk about both of these teams here. And so the Texans, solid victory over the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears are just going to be kind of a tough, feisty team. A lot of just, I think, optimism around the team, but also too as well, they have a lot of really good talent on the defensive side of the ball. So for them to come out with a victory, I think it's going to be good. And there's a lot of potential on this offense as well. So to hold them to just 13 points, sack Caleb Williams 7 times as well is good. That being said, on the flip side too, the Vikings beat San Francisco, a team that we all kind of considered, I think everybody kind of considered one of the, if not the best team in the NFC, and to beat them now 2 years in a row, especially this channel specifically, big downgrade from Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold, and for them to still come out with a victory, I think was a great achievement for them. Really slowed down this San Francisco offense as well. What do you think of both of these two teams kind of coming into this Week 3 matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a big one, a big kind of litmus test for both teams coming in undefeated. But kind of starting off with the Houston Texans, I think they have the more sustainable model in just – I think this defense is going to be a little bit better all around. I think they have the better secondary. They both have good pass rushes, but I think Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson are going to be a little bit better than like Dallas Turner and Andrew Van Ginkel. Mm-hmm. And so I think just kind of looking at it from that perspective, this defense is just a little bit more experienced, a little bit more veteran than Minnesota's. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Justin Jefferson, is Jordan Addison hurt?
Jordan Addison's hurt. TJ Hawkins now. Just Jefferson got a little banged up during the game, but I think it was just a quad injury, and he's going to be fine for this game.
And so outside of Justin Jefferson, very depleted at the wide receiver room, or in that wide receiver room, tight end room as well. And I just think you look, Dalton Schultz starting out in that tight end room, then you go Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs. Like they just have a litany of other weapons. And Joe Mixon in the running back room has had a pretty good season so far. And CJ Stroud, I think, definitely wins the quarterback battle as well. So like they have a really, really well-rounded group down there in Houston. And I will say, like, I think Minnesota has been punching above their weight a little bit, but like they've played some good football and they've relied a little bit on explosive plays, I think, to get them through. Well, really last week, because they had the big play to Justin Jefferson that was like really the big game changer. Mm-hmm. But the week before, they just absolutely dominated the New York Giants. So I think this will be a really good litmus test of can they compete with some of the top teams week in and week out for them going up against Houston.
Well, and I think it's huge props to Kevin O'Connell because I think he is kind of I'll say up and coming. He's been around for a couple of years now, but I think just another example though for this win of San Francisco, how he's able to game plan against a team that I would say has more talent on the team overall, but how he's able to game plan and give his team the best opportunity to win. And he's going to have to do the same thing here against Houston as well. And so let's kind of get into the game and some of the key matchups within the game. But before we do that, if you do want to put a couple bucks down on this game, check the link in the description box. BetUS has a bunch of great promotions going on right now for first-time players. So you can take a look at this game, all the other Week 3 games, or any other sport that you would like, as they have bets and odds for all players and all varieties. So I would think kind of coming into this game here, both teams are undefeated. I will say I wouldn't be surprised come kickoff time if this is kind of a pick'em game. That's a pretty big win Minnesota had over the San Francisco 49ers. And so I think it's going to put some extra clout to their name. That being said, though, too, it is Houston who has a three-headed monster in the receiving room. Joe Mixon, who I did read, his ankle injury doesn't seem it's going to be long-term or serious, so I expect him to play. We are recording this Monday night, so we'll have to kind of wait and see. But he has been playing well. The offensive line has been playing well defensively, as you said. A homecoming for Daniil Hunter. And so this is going to be very interesting to see how he plays in this atmosphere. But on the flip side, not being a Vikings fan, a lot of little interesting kind of little tidbits here. I think the biggest matchup to watch is, I really think, how is this Texan secondary going to slow down Justin Jefferson? Because with some of the injuries that they do have going on right now, that is definitely their number one style of offense. Aaron Jones is a huge addition to this team with his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's much better runner than what they had last year. But it almost does still seem like everything runs through Justin Jefferson. And so if they're able to slow him down and contain him, it is going to have to almost be for Houston. One of your other guys is going to have to beat us. That type of mentality. Do you agree with that? And what are some other X factors do you think each team that each team provides?
Yeah, I mean the other thing that I would say is getting pressure on Sam Darnold and kind of turning him into the quarterback that we saw like with the Jets and with the Panthers and so on. I think part of the reason too why he had so much success, or I don't say so much success, but why he had success against the 49ers was he was a 49er, if I remember right, last season. And so he's played against that defense. He kind of knows the weaknesses. He knows some of the moves that they like to make. So kind of getting him off his game, maybe try to give him some like unique looks that maybe make him think a little bit, I think is going to be interesting. And I think D'Amico Ryans can definitely do that with this defense. And so that to me, I think Sam Darnold versus D'Amico Ryans is going to be a really interesting matchup. And then also, how do the Vikings contain this wide receiver group? Because, I mean, no one's really been able to do that yet. And even last year, like when it was just Tank Dell and Nico Collins, a lot of defenses had trouble with that. So throwing in Stephon Diggs into the mix, I think is going to be a really tough matchup.
Yeah. I think like Tank Dell only had a couple catches, but like Stephon Diggs had 4 or 5. Well, here I can pull I have the stats right up right now. And so Nico Collins obviously had the most, but it's any one of them can go and have 100-yard receiving game pretty easily, and Dalton Schultz in there as well that we can't forget about. But yeah, Stephon Diggs had 4 catches for 37 yards, so that's not even that much, but second most overall, especially too since Nico had 8 for 135 and a touchdown. So last week it was Nico, but you're right. This next week it could be Tank. Week after that it could be Stephon Diggs. It could be Dalton Schultz. Yeah. There's a lot of variety that this Vikings team is going to have to cover, and it makes it even more that Brian Flores almost kamikaze style, pressure style defense, I think is going to come into play. So kind of with all that being said, let's get into predictions here. And Ryan, I could probably guess by now but who do you have winning this game? And
I think I'm going with Houston here. I just think they're going to be the more, I don't want to say experienced, but just like I have more confidence that they're going to make less mistakes. And they're going to be able to put Minnesota in some spots that they will be uncomfortable in. I think this is the first time that we will probably see Sam Darnold make like Sam Darnold-esque plays. And what I mean by that is like once when teams are kind of able to like knock him off his spot fairly consistently, I just think that he really starts to struggle, makes really quick decisions. You can see his feet speed up and his internal clock speed up. And I just think this is a really tough matchup for them in the trenches.
This is going to be I think a much better game than people initially will realize. Both teams are 2-0 coming into this, and huge props to the Vikings for being 2-0. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's like I consider the Niners have one of the best offenses in the league. Consider them to have one of the better defenses in the league. One of the better receiving rooms as well. And I'm sitting here thinking it's hard for me to go against Houston just in general, especially in this matchup. It is going to be on the road, and Minnesota's a tough place to play in. And Vikings are coming off a great win. I just feel like Houston, just overall talent-wise, I think is just a little bit better. And I think that's just going to be the biggest difference. And the injuries do seem to be maybe piling up a little bit for the Vikings team. And so that's why I'm going to lean with Houston here. But I would not be shocked at all if once again we're wrong, just as how we were wrong this past week with the Niners. So, but yeah, I'm going with Houston in this game.
Yeah, I think they're just going to be the better team. And I also think it will be a closer game. I was going to say like 28-24 because I do think this Vikings offense, especially with the way Kevin O'Connell can scheme things up, I just think they'll be able to put some points on the board. It might just be not quite enough in this matchup. So
I'll go 24-20.
Okay.
Houston. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Minnesota Vikings? Will it be the Houston Texans? And we'll see you guys next time.